Hey everyone. All right, we are up to lesson 65 of Learn Russian with Learn Russian. So this lesson is about adverbial participles, as is the next one. So I'd just like to point out this lesson is about adverbial participles formed from imperfective verbs. And the next lesson, lesson 66, is about adverbial participles formed from perfective verbs. Remembering that perfective verbs are basically verbs that are done, they reach a finished state, and imperfective verbs are more about doing things rather than the things being having been finished. So, what are adverbial participles? They're basically so again. Remember, a participle is basically a way to turn a verb into an adjective. So walk, for example, is a verb, but a person who is walking, the walking person, you're basically using the word walking as an adjective to describe that person. You've turned walk into an adjective. That's a participle form. There are also adverbial participles, which is basically how you did something. An adverb is how you perform the verb. These are actually those kinds of phrases where you sometimes get those jokes about misunderstanding. For example, um, walking down the street, I saw a shopping mall. Well, if you interpret that phrase or that sentence, you could interpret it to mean that the speaker saw the shopping mall walking down the street. Well, they did. They saw the shopping mall. They saw the shopping mall while walking down the street, but the sentence might imply that the shopping mall was the thing walking down the street. Um, which is sometimes a source of jokes in English and probably in other languages as well. And yeah, that's basically a typical example of a dangling participle. That's where you get those kinds of grammatical ambiguities. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully, our participles won't dangle around too much. So yeah, another form of the Russian verb, the adverbial participle. We will take a look at it as formed from imperfective verbs. So let's get started. I still think this is getting carried away with the whole participles theme just a little bit, but let's stick with it. We have two more lessons with participles, and then we move on to something else. So here we have once again an interview. There seem to be a lot of interviews between a journalist and someone else working in the arts. Last time we had an interview with a художник, with a painter, and this time it's an interview with a режиссер, a director, a film director. Let's see what this interview with the film director has to say.
Здравствуйте. Скажите, пожалуйста, о чем вы думали, создавая ваш новый фильм?
Снимая новый фильм ужасов, я вспоминал свое детство, свои школьные годы.
У вас было такое трудное детство?
Нет, не очень. Но думая об этом, я написал сценарий, где главный злодей– директор школы.
А следующий ваш фильм о чем?
Недавно, читая газету, я нашел оригинальную тему, но говорить о ней пока не буду.
А, понимаю. Профессиональная тайна.
Ну, может быть.
Once again, I feel like the ending was maybe supposed to be funny, but it doesn't really seem like a joke. It seems a little bit like it seems like it kind of ends on an anticlimactic note as if there was supposed to be something funny there, but I don't quite see what's supposed to be funny. Anyway, okay, so the journalist says,
Здравствуйте.
hello.
Скажите, пожалуйста, о чем вы думали, создавая ваш новый фильм?
Okay, so the word that he said here was создавая. So the sentence says, tell, please, about what you thought or about what you were thinking um, when creating your new film. So, yeah, so this is. It doesn't really seem like an adverb in this context, but basically, yeah. What were you thinking about when creating the new film? It's a little bit difficult to understand why that should be an adverb, but basically that's the participle form that we've put in here.
Снимая новый фильм ужасов, я вспоминал свое детство, свои школьные годы.
Okay, sorry. So so the word here is sнимая. So, снимая новый фильм ужасов. Ужасный means horrible, so a film ужасов is a horror film. So, снимая, so while shooting my new horror film, so it's basically an adjective because the main verb here is, I guess the main verb is in this part. Like this is the main part of the sentence. This is the main clause of this sentence here, and then so this says, "I remembered my childhood." So I remembered my childhood. Ah, but how did I remember my childhood? While making my new horror film. So that's why it's an adverb. It's I thought about my childhood while making the new horror film. So that sort of sets the mode or the frame in which he performed the main verb here, thinking about his childhood. So filming my new horror film, I remembered my childhood, my school years, свой школьные годы, my school years.
У вас было такое трудное детство?
Did you have such a difficult childhood that you had to make a horror film out of it?
Нет, не очень.
No, not very.
Но думая об этом, я написал сценарий, где главный злодей — директор школы.
Okay. Ну, думаю об этом, but thinking about it, я написал сценарий, so I wrote a scenario, or I guess a script, I wrote a film script, где главные злодеи were the main evil, or the big baddie, the main villain, is the director школы, the school director. So thinking about it, I wrote a script in which the main villain is the school director.
А следующий ваш фильм о чем?
And next, your film about what? So, seriously. I mean, he's saying, and what is your next film about? But the wording is, and next, your film about what?
Недавно, читая газету, я нашел оригинальную тему.
Aha. Недавно, so not long ago, recently, читая газету, я нашел оригинальную тему. So once again, the main clause here is я нашел оригинальную тему. I found an original theme, or I thought up an original subject. But how did I think up the original subject? Читая газету, reading a newspaper. So, reading a newspaper, I came up with an original concept. That's what we mean here by adverbial participles. The main part here is I thought of an original concept, and how did I do that? Reading a newspaper. So.
Но говорить о ней пока не буду.
But talk about it, I won't still. I still won't talk about it.
А, понимаю. Профессиональная тайна.
Oh, I understand. It's a professional secret.
Ну, может быть.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I feel like there was supposed to be some sort of joke there at the end, but I don't, maybe it's too subtle for me to understand. Who knows? Okay, so I hope that the theme is clear. We move on to the second dialogue. This is between a doctor and a pacient. And once again, I don't know why they're using the word doctor, because a physician in Russian is typically a vrach. I mean, yes, there's also the word doktor, but I thought Russians usually refer to a medical doctor as a vrach. But anyway, there's a doctor and there is a pacient. What do they have to say to each other?
Принимая вот эти таблетки, вы выздоровеете быстрее.
Доктор, спасибо. Только я не понимаю, почему я заболел.
Потому что вы, не заботясь о своем здоровье, едите слишком много жирной пищи и пьете алкоголь.
Доктор, слушая вас, я думаю, что у меня гастрит, а не простуда.
Это не важно. Люди, не думая о своем здоровье, делают все, что хотят, а наш организм — это одна система.
Спасибо еще раз, доктор. Я все понял.
Только занимаясь спортом и правильно питаясь, вы сможете дожить до старости, как я.
Извините, а сколько вам лет?
Еще только 76.
Спасибо, доктор.
Okay. Not screamingly funny, but kind of amusing, perhaps, in its own way. So the doctor says...
Принимая вот эти таблетки, вы выздоровеете быстрее.
So he says at the beginning, принимая, which means taking, yeah, like, well, what is, I mean, he's talking about taking the pills. So the tabletki is tablets, like pills, but what is принимая exactly? I mean, it's, oh, case sensitive. Принимать is the, yeah, to take, but not really, it's like, yeah, they don't really have the meaning here of to take pills, but he means here take your pills. So, and then выздоровеете, you will get well, you will become healthy again. Быстрее, faster. So again, the main sentence or the main clause is here. You will get well faster. How will you get well faster? By taking these tablets or taking these pills. So this is the adverb part here. Taking these pills, you will get well faster.
Доктор, спасибо. Только я не понимаю, почему я заболел.
Doctor, thank you. I just don't understand. Why did I become sick? Заболел means I got sick. So why did I get sick?
Потому что вы не заботитесь о своем здоровье, едите слишком много жирной пищи и пьете алкоголь.
Okay. So the missing participle here is zabotias. Let's look up zabotias rather than me trying to define it. Let me get it from Wiktionary. So zabotit is the imperfective form. It means to take care, to look after. Okay, so because you, not caring about your health, eat too much жирной пищи, too much fatty food, и пьете алкоголь, and drink alcohol. So because you, not caring about your health, so again, the main part here, the main clause of the sentence is you eat too much fatty food and drink alcohol. And how do you do it? The adverb is by not caring about your health.
Доктор, слушая вас, я думаю, что у меня гастрит, а не простуда.
So, Doctor, слушая вас. Doctor, listening to you, I think that I have gastritis and not a cold.
Это не важно.
That's not important.
Люди, не думая о своем здоровье, делают все, что хотят.
Okay. Люди, не думая о своем здоровье, делают все, что хотят. People, not thinking about their health, do everything that they want. So, people do everything that they want. That's the main clause. And how do they do everything they want? In not thinking about their health. That's the adverb that qualifies how they do the verb.
А наш организм – это одна система.
And our organism is one system. The body is one big system that's all interlinked together.
Спасибо еще раз, доктор. Я все понял.
Thank you once again, doctor. I understand everything.
Только занимаясь спортом и правильно питаясь, вы сможете дожить до старости, как я.
Okay, so only by занимаясь спортом и правильно питаясь. So only by carrying out sports, like doing fitness activities, and correctly eating, you may become an old person like me, like I.
Извините, а сколько вам лет?
Sorry, but how old are you?
Еще только 76.
Still only 76.
Спасибо, доктор.
Thanks, doctor. Okay. Moving on. So we have some examples here of adverbial participles. Она шла в магазин, мечтая о новом платье, so she walked into a store, dreaming of a new dress. Разговаривая, разговаривая Разговаривая о делах, они вошли в кабинет. So, talking about activities, basically, or what they were doing, talking about what they were doing, they went into the office. Думая о мороженом, мальчик шел по улице. So, thinking about ice cream, the boy walked on the street. Работая с документами, он думал о море. So, working on the document, he thought about the sea. So all of these are basically kind of a main clause and a subclause. Like there's a main clause and then the adverb goes in the subclause describing how the person did the verb described in the main clause. So what is an adverbial participle? An adverbial participle is another form of the verb which is used to express additional action going on alongside the main action. So yes, you have the main action, then you have a subordinate clause which contains the adverbial participle. An adverbial participle can either denote a process or the result of a completed action. Thus, it can be formed using both imperfective and imperfective verbs. Luckily, adverbial participles are an unchangeable form of the verb. Yes, that's certainly lucky. I feel very lucky having read that. Okay. Zadanie 3, exercise 3. How do we finish off? What ending do these adverbial participles take? Let's find out. The first one says, Он встретил нас радостно yes. Yes. So, he met us радостно улыбаясь. So he met us gladly smiling. How did he meet us? He met us gladly smiling. That was the adverb. Думая о будущем, мы иногда забываем прошлое. Thinking about the future, we sometimes forget the past. That is true, and also the present. Смотря в окно, она думала о жизни. So looking in the window, or through the window, looking through the window, she thought about life. Deep thoughts. Он прошел мимо, so he walked past, игнорируя нас. So he walked past, ignoring us. Занимаясь спортом, люди развивают не только тело, но и разум. So, in doing sports, people develop not only the body, but also the mind. Deep thoughts. Okay. Читая газеты, мы каждый день узнаем что-то новое. So, reading newspapers, we every day discover or learn something new. Спеша на работу, он забыл позавтракать. Hurrying to work, he forgot breakfast or forgot to eat breakfast. Рисуя так редко, ты никогда не станешь хорошим художником. So, drawing or painting so infrequently or so rarely, you never will become a good painter or artist. Увлекаясь футболом, не надо забывать о семье. So, being interested in football, you don't need to forget about your family. Good idea to not forget about your family when focusing on football. Good life advice, perhaps, if you have a family. Говоря об этом, надо быть очень деликатным. So, talking about this, it's necessary to be very delicate. The specific subject is not mentioned, but basically, yeah. When talking about this, it's necessary to be very delicate, or it's necessary to be very delicate when talking about this. Okay, moving on. Now we form the adverbial participles from the given verbs. First verb is zaниматься, to do, to busy yourself. Yeah, like zaниматься is busy, so to occupy yourself with something. Занимаясь. There we go. Занимаясь is the adverbial participle form. Любить, to love. The adverbial participle form is любя. Танцевать, to dance. Adverbial participle form is танцуя. Танцуя. There we go. Выходить, to exit or to walk out. Adverbial participle form is выходья. Заказывать, to order something, for example, in a restaurant. Adverbial participle form is заказывая. Защищать, to, what is that? I believe that's to defend. I copied the wrong word. That indeed was to order, as I said. I mixed up заказывать and защищать. Защищать means to defend, guard, protect, to speak in support of, to stand up for, to advocate, defend, plead for, to uphold, or defend. Okay. And now you know. Защищать. Yes. Защищать. And the adverbial participle form is защищая. Okay, создавать, to make or create. Создавая. Исследовать, to explore, I guess. Let's just check quickly here. To research, to study in detail, yes. Okay, that sounds a bit more correct, I think. Okay. Исследовать, not past. Adverbial participle form is исследуя. Приезжать, to arrive, basically to arrive at your destination, is приезжая. And finally, объяснять, to explain. That is, where's the, there we go. The strong sign. It's something we rarely use. It's actually a rarely used character in Russian, and so I actually didn't remember where to even find it on the keyboard. Okay, there we go. The adverbial participle form is объясняя. I am going to go out on a limb and imagine that this might be a word that you might not use in everyday Russian. Okay, and here once again we have the conversion of forms. So we take the non-participle form and turn it into the participle form. For example, когда вы занимаетесь спортом, вы заботитесь о своем здоровье. When you do sports or fitness, you look after your own health. The adverbial participle form here, I think we already had it, is занимаясь. Люди изучают иностранный язык и узнают о культуре этого языка и народа. People learn a foreign language and learn about culture, the culture of this language and nation. Okay, so изучают the adverbial participle form learning is изучая. Турист путешествует и разговаривает с местными жителями. The tourist travels and talks with the locals, the local residents. So, путешествует, travel, the adverbial participle form is путешествуя. Муж ходит на работу и целует жену. The husband leaves to work and kisses his wife. So the adverbial participle form here is ухода. So, ухода на работу, муж целует жену. Leaving for work, husband kisses wife. Okay. Когда вы переходите улицу, сначала посмотрите налево, а потом направо. So, when you cross the street, look to the left, begin looking to the left, and then to the right. Wait. I somehow missed the line in between. Sorry, that's number 6. We're still doing number 5. Когда вы покупаете продукты, смотрите на цену. So when you are buying products, probably groceries, look at the price. I wonder if there's anyone who doesn't do this. Does anybody just grab groceries and not check the price? Well, maybe they do. Maybe if they assume that it's not going to be that expensive. Okay. So, покупаете, so the adverbial participle form is покупая. I think that's right. Yeah. Покупая продукты, смотрите на цену. Buying products, look at the price. Okay, now we come to the one that I somehow got to before. Когда вы переходите улицу, сначала посмотрите налево, а потом направо. When you are crossing the street, start looking left and then to the right. So, переходите, the adverbial participle form is... what was it? It was переходя. So, переходя. Улицу. Crossing the street, look to the left and then to the right. Они гуляли по городу и осматривали достопримечательности, which means они гуляли по городу, they walked around the city, и осматривали and went looking at достопримечательности, which I believe means the sights, basically the sights of the city. So the adverbial participle form of гуляли or гулять is гуляя. I do hope I'm pronouncing that right. Профессор объяснял лекцию и писал формулу на доске. So the professor explained the lecture. We had this word объяснять here. So now it's the professor explained the lecture and wrote the formula on the на доске, on the blackboard. So we actually just, I can just copy and paste this from here, can't I? Объясняя. Yes, that is correct, I believe. And finally, когда ребенок увлекается рисованием, он развивает абстрактное мышление. When a child enjoys drawing, he develops abstract thinking. Is this really true? Do children develop abstract thinking while drawing? You'd think it would be the opposite because drawing is concrete. Drawing is not abstract. Drawing is actually concretely making something that you can see. Well, what do I know? I'm not a specialist in child psychology or child learning. But anyway, the adverbial participle form of увлекается, to enjoy something or to get, to kind of get engaged with something in the sense of enjoying it, is увлекаясь. Once again, I seem to have made a typo. Oh my, what has happened? Let's see, what did I do wrong here? Занимаясь looks correct. Изучая looks correct. Путешествуя looks correct, actually, surprisingly. This is not ухода. This is уходя. There we go. That was my mistake. Sorry, it's уходя, not ухода. Уходя на работу, муж целует жену. Going to work, husband kissed wife. Okay, and that was it. Now we just have a cool down exercise at the end. Думая о будущем дети, so thinking about future children. Hold on, what do these say here? Они должны хорошо учиться. They, so thinking about the future of children, they need to study well. Родителям очень трудно. It's very difficult for the parents. Or родители дают им хорошее образование. Parents give them a good education. Well, I guess that all depends, doesn't it? I mean, are we talking about parents homeschooling their children? I mean, I think children should study well, but parents should give them a good education as well. I mean, children are educated at home and in the school. I don't know. I think the answer they're looking for here is parents give them a good education. I mean, kind of all those answers seem to be applicable in one way or another. Путешествуя по стране, traveling on the beach. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah, traveling on the beach, isn't it? No, sorry. Beach is Strand or something. Yeah, sorry, beach is a different word. Strana is country, not beach, but country. Sorry. Путешествуя по стране, traveling around the country. У туристов много эмоций. Tourists have many emotions. Туристы увидели много интересного. Tourists see many interesting things. Or природа понравилась туристам. The nature pleases tourists, or tourists like nature. Once again, I think that all three of these are conceivably I think that all three of these are quite possibly correct answers, but I guess the most relevant answer is the second one. Tourists see many interesting things, but that kind of depends on where they go. I mean, they could go to a place where there are not many interesting things. Okay, anyway. Занимаясь спортом. So, doing sports. Люди заботятся о своем здоровье. People take care of their health. Надо быть здоровым. You need to be healthy. Or людям нужно здоровье. people need to people need health. I mean, I don't think you need, yeah, you don't need to be healthy to do sports. I think the idea is that by doing sports, by doing fitness activities, you take care of your health. So it should be the first one here. Приходя на работу, so arriving at work, меня встречал директор. The director met me. У меня много дел. I had a lot to do. Or сначала я пью кофе. At the beginning, I drank coffee. Well, how am I supposed to know? I mean, any of these could be accurate. Arriving at work. Hold on, is this? I mean, this is. Arriving at work. The director met me. I had a lot to do. Or I started off by drinking coffee. Any of these are conceivably correct. I think for some reason they want you to choose the answer about coffee, but that doesn't, I mean, it seems like any of these answers are correct. I don't know. Okay, and finally, мечта о новой машине, dreaming of a new car. У него были деньги. He had money. Он взял кредит в банке. He got credit, so a loan, in the bank. К нему пришел брат. His brother came to him? Yeah. Again, I think any of these could be correct. I mean, if you're dreaming of a new car, it's possible that he had money. If you're dreaming of a new car, it's possible that you take out a bank loan to pay for the car, or maybe even not to pay for the car, maybe just because you wanted a bank loan. And then, к нему пришел брат, it's possible that your brother can come to you. I think even when you're dreaming of a new car, your brother is capable of coming to you. But okay, contextually, the most logical thing to do is to say that he took out a loan, he took out a credit at the bank. And indeed, that was the answer they're looking for. Okay. That was a bit, I don't know. I found a couple of those answers just a bit questionable, but okay, let's not dwell on it too long. So that was lesson 65. So this is the first dialogue. This is the second dialogue. Exercise 3. Exercise 4. And exercise 5. This was about adverbial participles of imperfective verbs. And next time we'll see each other in lesson 66 for adverbial participle forms of perfective verbs. Hope I'll see you all then, folks. Thanks for watching. Until then, paka paka.